Go into grave detail. This mind map is everything we do in freewholesaling.com. So if you've ever been frustrated with a guru or coach or someone got you excited about wholesaling, which I think is awesome, but they don't want to tell you what's behind the closed doors before you pay them, I'm going to show you what we offer 100% for free from people with over 26, actually 27 years experience total between me and my son. And so I'm going to give you a quick overview. It's not quick, but as instead of spending 10 hours on my course, I'm going to take 45 minutes and show you everything we offer in freewholesaling.com. So I think it's going to be valuable. So for those of you who don't want to go through the entire course, you want me to spoon feed it to you and go, Rick, I need to see what's in there before I buy. And by the way, the only cost to enter into this is your email. That's it. So let's get into it and we'll go from there. So I put basically 5 steps on here. So obviously we're going to teach about finding motivated sellers, which to me is crucial. Okay. This is the fight that most of you are in, and we're going to spend the most time on this part. Then we're going to go into qualifying sellers and following up. We're going to go deep into that as well. Okay. Then we're going to talk about locking up the contract, and I'll show you how you can get it at freewholesaling.com. And then we're talking about selling your deals to dispoing and the cash buyers and closing the deal. Most of you guys are all stuck up here. Okay. This is where you guys think if you pay someone, you're going to get this information. True story today. I saw a post. I'm not going to call anyone out, but said, hey, we're going to give you all what you asked for. You want to find deals without any marketing cost, but I can't do it for free. You've got to be kidding me. They just told you they have no money to find deals. And now you want to charge them a coaching program for it. And by the way, they won't tell you what the coaching program is till you go through a discovery call. And get this. This is the kicker. Okay. Remember, find deals for free. So even if you pay someone $1,000, $2,000, I guess if they provide the right value, it might be worth it for the right client. But when you get in there, they ask you, what's your marketing budget? 500, 1,000, 1,500, or 5,000 or more. You just told everyone you're going to teach them how to get deals with no money. So why do you need to know what their marketing budget is? Guys, I don't make this stuff up. It's on the internet every day. If you guys want to sign up for this stuff, knock yourself out, but it's not going to get you anywhere. Okay. And then they end it with, you get what you pay for. So if anybody wants to try to discredit that, I've had over 5,000 people in my group discredit the you get what you pay for. It doesn't really work with that. It's the people that you pay attention to and how you invest your time is just as important. So the problem in wholesaling, as you guys know, that 70 to 80% of the people out there coaching don't really give a hoot if you do a deal or not. That's why you have to pay them in advance. So me and Zach do it opposite. That's why we're busting this whole industry. Disruptive good. So let's get into finding motivated sellers. Guys, put your questions in there and I will answer as many as I can. So let me zoom in on this thing. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see all that. So finding motivated sellers. To me, this is the biggest challenge. And honestly, it's where you have to start. Okay. And if you start down here trying to sell the cash buyer, unless you have motivated sellers, it's kind of a waste. So let's dive into it. Okay. Well, hold on. I have got to share my screen. Oh. It's, okay. It bounced me out. Okay, hold on, guys. You know it's live because I'm having technical difficulties. So let's do this. Present. Share screen. Windows. Okay. Okay. So guys, give me a, okay. So you guys can see it. Someone give me just a thumbs up. I am not the technical guy. So thank God I wholesale. So, okay. I just want to make sure it is working. And okay, cool. Okay. So let me get back into here. So I am going to try to zoom this in so we don't get too distracted. So I apologize if that gave someone a seizure there, but that's it. So number one, the first thing you have to figure out when you get started in wholesaling is you have to master list pulling. Okay. The really cool thing at freewholesaling.com, this is what we specialize in. And this is the big veil that no coach or anyone tells you about. They're very, very vague about this until you pay to get in their program. So I'm going to break down the list pulling for you right off the bat. I'm going to tell you what type of lists you need to be pulling, and I'm going to tell you where to get them. So this is going to go a little bit quick. Okay. So right off the bat, let me move this over here. You have two types of lists. Okay. You have free lists and you have paid lists. Okay. So a lot of you guys ask, hey, listen, Rick, I really don't have a lot of money to get this done. I'm fine with that. Just understand you're going to have to work your butt off. You're going to have to hustle and grind, and there's no replacement other than you because you don't have the money to hire other people. Okay. So let's go through. So I'm going to go through each list and where to get them. And if you guys stay till the end, I promise you, I will give you the link to get this map 100% for free. Okay. I won't be charging you anything. So code violations, my favorite list by far. And by the way, these aren't in order. They're just lists that I have used for over the last 20 years. Okay. By the way, these lists are free. Okay. This is why most gurus do not go into detail on these lists because they don't feel like you need them to get it. These lists are important. And it's where you'll make a majority of your money. Okay. So code enforcement will derive the code violations. A lot of times it's going to be in your building department. Okay. Water shutoffs. This is when they shut off the water, guys. Keep in mind, when people shut off the water on these properties, it's a good sign that either it's gone vacant or they have a huge financial problem. Either way, they are some of the best leads. Now, here's the key to water shutoffs. You got to get them from the utility department, and it's got to be a public company. Now, I can stress this to you. You will not get 100% compliancy of them giving you this list. Honestly, it's more like 60%. Some of them don't want to share it, and if it's not a public company, they don't have to share it with you. So just understand that going into it. And if you can get that list, it is incredible. And keep in mind, if there's not water running on the house, that means nobody can really live in there. So it's either going to be vacant or there's some serious, serious problems. Okay. Fire damaged properties, same things. It's why we have a fire department. Properties catch on fire, particularly kitchen fires, stuff like that. Electrical. Where do I get this list? Sometimes I don't even know why I have to tell you this, guys, but it's the fire department. It is truly the fire department. And keep in mind, that should be a public list because who pays for the fire department? Me and you. Okay. There's got to be a record for that when they have a call to go in the fire department, because if you look detailed on your property taxes, when you pay it, there's an entire section for fire rescue on there. So if I'm paying that bill, I want access to this. You've got to be nice with people like this. Firefighters are some of those wonderful people. Some of my greatest friends are firefighters. And if you don't know how to do it, ask them and see if they can help you out with it. And keep in mind, there are multiple fire departments, usually between the cities and counties, depending on the size of it. Okay. Probates, guys, you know, I love probates. If you're not doing probates, you're missing some huge, huge profit deals. You have to go to your county courthouse and you're looking at the clerk of the court, specifically the probate court. They might call it a probate records. It's a little bit different in each one of them. Now, you have to really be kind with these people. Sometimes you can get it online or you have to physically go and pull it. These are all wonderful. Pre-foreclosures, the same thing. You're going to go over to the clerk of court, which is your county courthouse, and this is going to be in the public records. I would venture to say 70% of these records are now online. You might have to pay a small fee to get public access to the records as a business. It's just a revenue stream for the county, and they figure they got to give it away anyway, so they might as well make it accessible. If you have to go to the courthouse to get it, it's actually an advantage to you because everybody else has to go through that fight, and most people are lazy and they won't go through that much work. Okay. Liens. If you really want to pull, you can go to your clerk of court and you can pull liens and you can do a public search. You're going to have to filter out the liens and find out the particulars you want to do. You can do HOA liens. You can do anything. Guys, I'm talking about free lists. Okay. Divorce list. Same thing. The clerk of court, public records. I'm not a big fan of this one because it's just tough, but we do get deals with them. But Just make sure you have tough skin because you're picking a fight when you get into those. But a lot of them got to sell the property. The key with divorce is you got to find distressed property, not just the stress of the divorce is like a given. But if the property's not distressed, usually divorce leads don't work out, but you can sort through them. Evictions, probably one of my favorites, especially right now. Rents should be stabilizing, if not going backwards. And there's just going to be a lot of evictions, guys. There's people that have been paying on the rents. The really cool thing is it's very public. It's on a list. And a lot of the evictions are filed directly by the landlord, and they put their phone number right on it. And that saves you a skip trace. And for that reason, I love it. The best time to find a great deal from a tired landlord is right before they're evicting it or the day they're filing it at the court. So speed really wins on this one. Okay. Arrest records. I've been on this in detail. All this is online. You do not go into your local sheriff's police station. You should be able to get that online, and you can see a record of everybody arrested for that day. Rick, why am I looking at arrest records? Because when people get arrested and they go away with jail, they have to do something with the house. I buy houses like this all the time, every year. You think it wouldn't be, but more people than you think get arrested in your local town, and they need help. Okay. Your IRS debt lien list, you can search public records through the clerk of court. Credit cards, when they put a judgment against people, once again, that is a submaster of your lien list. And last but not least, my least favorite, because wholesalers should not be on the MLS when they're first starting out. You can find properties on market, even kind of off market, and that list is technically free. So that's everything on the free list. Let's bounce down and talk about our paid list. Okay. Now, when we talk about a paid list, okay, we're talking about services we use. So just to make this a little bit general, so I don't go too long-winded here, these are going to be paid lists you usually get through a software company. Now, if you guys, I'm looking here. So if you guys use listrei.com, use Zach Data, it doesn't matter which ones you use. We like to use the ones that we use. That's why we recommend them. But if I was going to do these, I would pull these up on rei.com or zachdata.com. That's where I get it. Now, I use a combo of both. You only need one, guys. Don't use them both. And people go, well, Rick, I have to pay for a subscription. Number one, you never have to pay for anything. It's a choice, okay? You can do things manually till you figure it out. And then when you make some monies from your deals, you can pay for services. Now, keep in mind, a $99 subscription is a lot cheaper than a $3,000 employee, and plus you don't have to manage them. So if that's a tool you have to put in your tool belt, then go for it and get it. So I'm going to go through these, and there's no necessary order of the paid list that you can pull them. Now, most of these services, you get around 10,000 leads a month. So it basically comes to like a penny a lead. Guys, when I did this through CoreLogic, it was 20 to 25 cents a lead. That's how much I paid for them. But vacant properties, these are properties that have just gone vacant. They get this data from the USPS, the United States Postal Service, when people put that little green vacant thing in the box, okay? Tired landlords. Guys, there's an entire list of people who own tons and tons of properties. And what happens once they own them after a certain amount of time, they get tired. You just get tired of it. Tenants are rough on them. They beat up the property. And usually at the end, when they beat up the property after the landlord's fixed it up 15 times, they're not going to fix it up again. They'd rather just sell it the way it is, or they're going to fix it up completely and put it on MLS. They've already extracted their cash flow out of it. They just want to be out of it. So I like the tired landlords list. The zombie property list. Guys, these are basically pre-foreclosures that the people have just left and they're vacant. And that's why they're called zombie. They're a little bit more work, but it's very easy to get these lists on these paid services. And it's just a numbers game, and you got to go through them. Next one, high equity. I've done high equity since 2003, and I still do it in 2022. Okay. What's a high equity list? It's simply a list with someone that has a high cash value in it. So simple example, if somebody owned, just say, a $200,000 property and they only had $100,000 left on their mortgage, they would have 50% equity in the property. Most of our criteria, we start at 40 to 50% of equity. Why? Because number one, they've owned it for a decent amount of time, usually 5 years plus. And number two, you have a lot of room to negotiate. If you want to get a 20, 30, 40% discount, the equity has to be there to be able to get it. So if that person had a $200,000 mortgage, you can't buy that house for $150,000 because it wouldn't pay off the debt on it. So high equity will always work. Okay. You get pre-probates. Okay. There's a really, really cool technique in listrei.com where they do pre-probates. And basically, they figured out how to extract death certificates for your given county and then cross-correlate them to any property deeds that they owned in that county. And then they're saying this is suspect. It could be pre-probate. And guys, a lot of times it takes years for properties to pop up on a formal probate list. That's why I really like the pre-probate strategy. The cool thing is you don't have to pull it every month. My recommendation is pull it maybe once a quarter, at worst twice a year. Just pull them. I always get deals off of them. And if you don't want to do the whole courtroom, I don't have time to do that. These are perfect, but you have to go through a paid service to do it, guys. $100 is a heck of a lot cheaper than $3,000. Okay, I'm just telling you. Vacant land, I've gone into grave detail. I do entire videos on this. I've done a multi-series videos on this. Check it out on Flip with Rick or the Rick Ginn channel. And then failed listings. Guys, this is easy. Like, yes, you can get failed listings. And I know there's one other one I think I left out of here. Which one was it? Tired landlords. I'll figure it out. I'll put it back in there. But these guys, you get the issues this. You have paid and you have free. See how long the free ones? Do you see how much I push on this? When you guys hire gurus, they tell you to basically, just try some free lists to move on. The truth of the matter is these free lists are absolutely huge when you start out in wholesaling, okay? They are critical when you do it. And it's so important that you do them, okay? Anyone who glasses over there is going, well, we only do the paid services. So what drives me crazy is most of these coaching programs tell you, unless you're going to spend $3,000 to $5,000 a month, you're probably not going to succeed. I'm here to tell you guys, it's the opposite. I find that people spend a lot of money in the beginning. They have no idea what they're doing and they struggle and they burn through the money. And by the time they pay the coaching program and 3 months of marketing, they don't have anything to work with. That's when they come over to me and Zach and go, okay, how do I really get a deal? And you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you it's going to take a lot of hard work and dedication. You're going to have to make a lot of calls, knock on a lot of doors and get it done. But anyone who sticks it out with me for the 3 to 6 months, they come out such a better person, particularly a wholesaler, because if you've ever gone through a grind, if you guys have ever gone through a workout program or gone on that special diet, which I hate diets. I think you should just change your lifestyle if you have to do a diet. The reward's tremendous on the backside because you find a part of your body I didn't know I could do this. And once you find out you can do it, the sky's unlimited in what you can do it. Let me keep moving here because I'm giving you everything we do in freewholesaling.com, trying to wrap it up in 45 minutes. It's crazy. Okay. So the next technique, cold calling. So now we've done our lists. Okay. So we pull our list. We did the free ones. We did the paid ones. So now we're talking about marketing mediums to reach out. Once we have these lists, now we got to pick the vehicle to reach out to them. My favorite, and for most people starting out, cold calling is the best. I get it. A lot of you have a fear of cold calling. And honestly, I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite. I'm not a cold caller. My son's a master cold caller, and I convinced him to do it in our company when we got started. And because I started him in day one, he doesn't know any difference. That's why he's so dynamic at cold calling. He will cold call all day long. He doesn't care. Okay. And that's why we do our Tuesday segment. We're the only ones that do live cold calls. We don't call real estate agents because that's not where the deal is for a beginner wholesaler. The reason why most gurus call a real estate agent because it's an easy softball call. It's just easy. I call real estate agents all day. And keep in mind, most of you aren't licensed real estate agents, so you're not going to get the same courtesy as a lot of these people that are licensed that are calling. Okay. Number two, we do the colds live and raw, and we let you guys pick the area and we let you pick the sellers. That way you get authenticity on how these calls go. And some of them are brutal, man, but that's the reality of the business. So if Zach can do it and that's what he did, I wasn't brought up in a cold calling environment. I have no problem doing cold calling, but I don't have to do it anymore. So Zach runs our entire cold calling staff of people. That's all they do is call all day long. So when you do that, if you go to freewholesaling.com, we have the entire script, which we're going to teach you how to do a conversation. and show you how to do the skip tracing. The next one, text blasting, is exactly what it says. The SMS is in front of it. I know it's a fancy word. And we basically do the double whammy script. What do I mean by that? If you guys use a standard "we buy houses" and send it out to, say, 5,000 people, only about 10 to 20% of your text are going to be delivered because you're going to be flagged as spam. Okay. We teach you how to ask dynamic questions so your text receiver responds back to you. Once they respond back to you, you are now out of the spam zone. So once there's an interaction, then you can move forward. And the whole goal was we teach you how to convert text to phone call. Guys, I know we're in a heavy texting society. You cannot close people on text. It does not, the effectiveness is horrible. So we teach you the double whammy script, and we teach you how to convert them from text to phone. And if you're in local, we'll teach it from text to phone to in person. Okay. Moving on to direct mail. You guys know I'm deep in this stuff. I love doing it. I never recommend it for a beginner. And this is my argument with coaches all the time, is I rather you go out and use a free source or a software paid source for like $100 and figure out how to work with a motivated seller before you start sending out thousands of pieces of mail, because you have not talked to enough people to understand how the process works yet. So you can outspend yourself if you hire a coach. They say, hey, send out 10,000 mail pieces. Who's going to answer the phone? Are you going to answer it live? There's so many things. I will tell you this in direct mail. You guys got to answer your phone live. If somebody tells you not to answer your phone live, you're already done. You're throwing your money out the window. Guys, I have 20 plus years of research in direct mail. Anybody that tells you to let it go to a voicemail, they're just not very good wholesalers. Why? Because I don't do huge pieces of mail. Good sized compared to most of you, but I don't spend 20, 30 grand on this stuff. If I spend $5,000 on direct mail, I get a 4 to 5 times return, guaranteed, year after year. Now that number's gone down. It used to be 8. Now it's down to 5, really 4.5 to be honest with you. So it works. Okay. What do? We use the system and we teach it all in freewholesaling.com. We use what we call the ROS postcards. It's a rapid offer system postcards. It's basically a system I created with a mail house. I tested this stuff out for 2.5 years before I even recommended it for you guys to use it. Now we use it in our company. I have a lot of people that mimic what I do. I don't own the mail company. I don't do anything, but we give you the source that we use it with, and we pass the savings along to you guys. If you want to get in direct mail, check out mailingmastery.com. It's all there. We use regular postcards, and then we do probate mailers, which I give you the template in freewholesaling.com. And you have to mail a letter. Do not mail postcards to probates. They don't work. Ask me how I know this. Okay. That's everything on direct mail there. Guys, we're getting there. I told you it's a lot of information, man. It's absolutely insane. So let me see here. And then we talk about reverse driving for dollars. And if you know what reverse driving for dollars is, you basically take your list, like your government list, maybe they're code violations, maybe they're pre-foreclosures, and you stick a note on the door that says, I got a quick question about your house. This is Rick. You put your virtual phone number on there. You don't put your personal phone number on there because it can get you in trouble. Okay. And virtual phone numbers, guys, they're cheap. They're like $5-6 a month, maybe 10. Okay. There's a million companies out there. Just Google it, take a look at it, or do one for free. Use Google Voice. I've had my same Google Voice for 12 years. It's amazing. Okay. Just get off the Google announcement on there. And guys, this works because when they come out of the house, you just deal with the ones that want to call you, and the ones that want nothing to do with you, they don't call you back, but it does have a high callback ratio because it looks like a personal note. Okay. Guys, let's talk about pay-per-click and Facebook ads. Don't do them. You're wasting your time. I'm sorry. I have really good friends that teach this stuff, but the reality is, a newbie wholesaler, you do not want to play in this pond until you are completely established, because you need to dedicate one person just to do this stuff. And my problem, like PPC, is more of an advanced strategy with an operation, meaning multiple employees, because they're expensive. Okay. 30 to 40K a month. That's not for your average person. So unless you have experience in PPC, do not start it when you start out wholesaling because it's going to overwhelm you. Okay. I wouldn't touch it. Facebook ads, they just take way too long to nurture. Okay. Everybody brags about how cheap a Facebook lead is. Who cares what the cost of the lead is? How many deals did you get from your Facebook? All I do is people call me, oh, look at all these leads I got from my Facebook. How many contracts do you have? 0. Okay. They might as well be free because Facebook's really good at pulling $600, $800, $1,000 out of you. And then you're going to have some person, a guy or gal says, listen, for $1,000 a month, I'll do it for you. Let me just save you the energy. People on Facebook are not looking to sell their homes. It's an afterthought. They are 12 to 18 months nurturing because I own a real estate agency and we do it on that. And that's the average time it takes people to get to list a house off of Facebook. How long do you think it's going to take them to sell their house for a quick discount? It takes a long time. This is my opinion, guys. You can do what you want, but in the beginning, do not concentrate on this area because this would take you out so quick because these are much bigger budgets. And honestly, unless you have real specifics and you know how to work them, you are going to have to rely on someone else. They call a consultant, and you have to pay. Not only do you have to pay the advertising tab, but you have to pay. You have to pay their consulting gig on it. Okay. The next one, JV deals and networking. I already told you we need to change this industry and get it back how we used to do it. When I started back in 2003. More than a quarter of my deals was working with other wholesalers. And then here I am in 2022 and nobody wants to play ball anymore. And it's absolutely crazy. So we give an opportunity for people to JV with us, but it's got to be a good deal, guys. It's got to be a good deal. Bandit signs. I like bandit signs. Just make sure they're legal in your area and don't get people in trouble. I don't want anybody to get hit by a car, but bandit signs work. If you go, signs are expensive. I know they are. So go buy the blank signs, cut them in half, buy that giant black marker and just write on it on one side. Guys, bandit signs are not that expensive and they work. You want to put them in areas where people drive by slow so they can take a picture of your bandit sign. They used to write them down and call. Now they take a picture. They can't do it at 45 miles an hour. Okay. Zillow Fizbos, guys, one of the easiest ways to get deals. Number one, these people are wanting to sell, obviously, because they got on a Fizbo site. Number two, their phone number and their name's already on there. So this winds up just being a numbers game. If I told you the thousands of deals I've watched people get going through freewholesaling.com just on Zillow alone, guys, it's one of the free ways to do deals. Okay. So let's walk about qualifying the seller and then we'll rip through the other stuff really fast and I'll get to all your questions. Okay. I'm moving it up here. It gets hot when I go through this stuff. So, okay. So now we're going to qualify sellers. So someone's either reached out to you or you've reached out to them. So one's inbound and one's outbound. Okay. A majority of what you guys are doing is going to be what we call outbound marketing, meaning you reaching them out to them because you're on a limited budget to get it. So we teach you the MCTP. If you don't know what that is, those are the 4 qualifying questions. And we broke it down to a simple acronym. So you guys don't have to memorize this complicated script and sounds so fake with people. Okay. Remember, the new currency in wholesaling are 2 things: authenticity. What am I saying? Authenticity and being empathetic to people. Okay. We got to stop trying to run over, manhandle people and fight it with the price. If you can be authentic and you can be empathetic with people and still go through our process of wholesaling, you will do very well. Okay. But you still have to go through the system. Okay. The next step is you got to figure out what the MAO is, and that's the maximum allowable offer. Okay. So many of you guys are stuck in the old world. Take ARV times 70% minus off your fee. Guys, that barely worked in 2003 or 4. Okay. So today it's much, much different. You have to focus more on the ARV than your percentage off on it. Okay. Because if you don't have the right ARV, you're never going to know what the real target price for it, and you're never going to figure out your maximum allowable offer. Okay. So we teach you how to find the right ARV, and there's plenty of tools out there to do it. And we teach you what to do if you can't find the right ARV and how to put that offer together. Okay. Then we're going to teach you how to follow up with the appointments so that you can be well below your MAO. Okay. I'm going to teach you how to go for no. Okay. You're like, what are you talking about? So many of you guys have been taught by these gurus, just throw out a price and see if they take it and tell them you'll pay cash and close quickly. Guys, I stopped doing that in 2004. You guys, like, it's very transparent what you're doing. Okay. So what you need to do is basically build rapport to where you can kind of go in, and then you're basically going to give a low offer. We call it going for no. You make a low offer. I don't ever even expect them to accept it. The worst feeling in wholesaling is when you make an offer and they instantly accept it. It means you paid too much. Okay. So I rather you get that difficult conversation done up front right here than the very, very painful conversation your seller says, hey, you paid too much. And then you come on a live with me and go, Rick, I've gone through 10 or 12 sellers and I can't sell this property. I'm going to tell every one of you, you most likely you paid too much for it. Okay. So to prevent that, get the thing as low as you can. By going for a super low number is you're looking for a counter. Okay. So say if a property is worth 200 grand and you offer $120, if you're scared to offer that number, it's the right number. That's how it works. The more nervous you are, the more right you are. And that's what you have to understand. That's what we teach at freewholesaling.com. You're not going to get this in any other course. Okay. You have to get it out there because you're not looking for them to accept that offer. If they do, you'd probably be really ecstatic, right? But you're looking for their counter to that offer. Okay. You're looking for their reaction. You're looking for data so you can get closer to a number that works for both parties. Okay. So that you might throw out 120. They go, listen, I can't do anything less than 142. Now you can start haggling down to the final numbers and get to it. But the problem is a lot of you guys start at 150 and you wind up at 170. And before you know it, you can't sell the deal. And then you're on a live going, man, I don't know how to do this. And I'm telling you guys, that is probably one of the biggest problems that's going on. And remember, you're in a market where prices are dropping 2% a month right now. Okay. So in 6 months, houses potentially going to be worth 15 to 20% less. Okay. The beautiful thing about wholesaling, you don't have to worry about that. You just got to get the right price up front. Okay. Because your plan is to get rid of that property in less than 30 days. So at the most, you're at risk for what? 2%. 2%. Flippers, they're in big trouble right now. Like anybody flipping a property right now, way above the median price, God help you. You better throw in closing costs. You might want to throw in a BMW in it. It's going to get interesting, guys. Okay. So this is the biggest struggle, finding the ARV and going for the no. And that's where we teach the core principles of wholesaling and what we're doing. And I want you to understand that. Okay. So many people skip this process. And the problem is when you guys are out there buying all these courses, you have to pay someone. And somebody told me the other day, multiple people told me they had to sign an NDA just to buy the course. Guys, if you're signing an NDA to buy a course, you're definitely in the wrong course. Do not sign your legal rights away when you buy a course. If anything, they should be helping explaining it to you. Okay. You should have any time to get out of a course if you're not comfortable. Nobody should force you to buy something. Okay. If we're not going to force our sellers to sell us a house, why would you let a guru force you to buying a course? Okay. Ask for the course up front. Can I take a quick peek at your online program? Can I look at some of your recorded Zoom calls? Ask quality questions. You'll find a lot of times if someone's got a legitimate program that's going to help you out, they'll answer all your questions. The ones that are illegitimate, they're going to run under a rock and hide. Okay. Because they don't do this business. Okay. And please, who's ever telling, if you're going to buy a wholesaling course outside of anything you do with me and Zach, make sure they're wholesaling today. Make sure they have a deal right now. Just give me one HUD and tell them I don't want a student's HUD. Okay, let's move on. Then we're basically talking about locking up the contract. So either you're going to go on a physical appointment or a virtual appointment. And at this point, you know me and Zach go deep and teach you how to build rapport and understand motivation, because so many guys, like, you'll find motivation and you're like, okay, what do I do with it now? Like, that's a lot to weigh on me. And the key is everybody wants to get the motivation, but you got to find how to intertwine the motivation, the pain of the seller, and build rapport on it. Okay. If you've ever had someone tell you about how her husband just died and you're like, oh, that's really cool. It means you're automated and you're scripted and you don't have a heart, or your heart hasn't been trained to connect. you should be extremely empathetic. Like, oh my God. And if you can't shed a tear naturally, like to me, it's just like natural. Like I'd be crying like a baby, man. Like you ever dealt with like death? It sucks. Okay. So you got to feel for these people and help them. And so when they tell you something and it doesn't register on your face and you do that cheesy car salesman thing, they read right through you. Understand this, that wholesaling has nothing really to do. There is a process, but when people say it's about sales and stuff, no, it's not, because I'm not a sales guy. I just know how to help people out, find out if they have pain, see if I can make their pain easier by buying a problematic house and doing exactly what I'm going to tell them to do. And if you can do that, you can do this. Some of the best people I've taught, some of the best people I know in wholesaling, they're not like, it's not about being a slick, like car salesman. It has nothing to do with that. Okay. And honestly, you're selling yourself. And that's what means act focused on selling yourself, your confidence and your skills and the ability to help people out. If you go into a wholesaling deal and you can't say, Mr. Seller, no matter what, even if I don't buy your house, I'm going to help you out. If you can't say that, don't do this business. Because if you're just solely in for the money, you're going to get killed. I want you out now if that's what you're doing. That's what a lot of coaches are driving. You're in it for the money. Don't get me wrong. We all need money. Okay. But if you will help out as many people as possible, the money will come with it. You just have to follow a system. Okay. Once you understand how to build that rapport off the motivation, we're going to teach you how to get offers between 10 and 40% below the maximum allowable offer. In the last 4 years, everybody wants to offer the top dollar right off the number. And that in itself is a problem. That's why most of you are paying way too much for the deals. Okay. Then we just teach you simple negotiation strategies. Like I go in this in grave detail. I teach you the volley method. Okay. It's powerful. I've done a lot of exercise with you guys. It works like a charm. Did you know if you can overcome the average person's objection twice, they fold? Test it out. I'm telling you, it doesn't even matter. The only ones it doesn't work on are kids. Okay. Kids are invincible. They'll overcome it 100 times. That's why they're kids. Why do you think kids turn into adults? Because they conform to what society tells them. And eventually they're like, okay, if you ask me twice, eventually I'm just going to give you the answer. Kids never give up. And that's why we can all learn from being kids. I feel like I'm like an overgrown kid. So then basically we teach you how to send the contract to the title company. I specifically give you the verbiage, how to interview your title companies in person or over the phone virtually. This is critical, guys. If you do not get the right title company, you're going to be in trouble. Okay. I go into grave, like very, very, very deep detail on this. Okay. Moving on. We're almost done. I promise you guys, I'm going to talk to you. Okay. Then you're going to find the cash buyers for it. Okay. We're going to teach you how to find the cash buyers, teach you how to cold call in the cash sales, how to pull them up. You're going to call your local for rents. Okay. They're just for rent signs. You look for signs in the neighborhood or you just dig them up on the internet. Facebook groups are very, very powerful to find cash buyers. It's really easy. You just look in. So if I'm in like Knoxville, I'm going to look for Knoxville real estate investors groups and find as many as you can. Guys, auctions. Now, online auctions don't really work, but if you have like in-person auctions in your town, they're usually held on Saturday mornings. We have 2 companies here locally. It's a blast, man. And so I usually have about 80 to 100 buyers there, and they only sell one property. That means if I had 80 buyers, one's happy and 79 are pissed off. I'm going to get their information. I'm going to be respectful about it, and I'm going to network like crazy and get as many contacts as I humanly can. Going on with realtors, huge. Okay. You eventually have to network with realtors. You can't avoid this because realtors control 95% of the market. So if you constantly complain about realtors and avoid them, you're missing out on 95% of the market. And we teach you specifically how to train your realtors to find deals that work for your business. The key is not to have them bring you every deal. Okay. And then title companies. I could go on for probably 3 hours on title companies. I get deals from title companies. I have title companies give me data all the time. I have title companies give me the best pricing possible. They help me out with all my assignments. They absolutely do it all for me. And honestly, I couldn't run my business without the right title companies. They are like basically your partners. Okay. And you have to understand how to work them. And guys, don't forget, I'm going to add this on there is you can go to your local RIAs and network to find cash buyers. There's a lot of senior people in there, guys and gals that have been in the business a long time, like me, that love to work with newbies, that can find a deal. Just get yourself a fair split on it. You don't have to take 10 or 20%. Okay. Give them 60%, they'll fund the whole thing, and you get 40. And here's the key: ask them to teach you to learn the process while you do it, because that's where the real value is in it. Okay. The next one is then you're going to qualify your cash buyers. And this one, man, I beat this into you. So many of you guys have been taught over the last 10 years, you got to toughen up to your cash buyers. You really don't need them. They're a dime a dozen. Don't be a subservient to your cash buyers. All that stuff is coming back to roost right now, because if you sat there and burned cash buyers, it means you're in the same boat as the guy or girl that's starting out wholesaling now, because all you did was burn buyers for the last 5 years. I warned everybody about this. The day is here. Cash buyers at a premium. Honestly, my prediction by January, February, it's going to be harder to find cash buyers than it is going to be motivated sellers, or like 50-50. Okay. Guys, I have deals right now. I'm still scrambling to get cash buyers. So it's a real deal, because they're trying to find where the bottom of the market is, and they're waiting. And I just gave you numbers that'll probably put a little more fear in them. Okay. So the first thing we do is we're going to establish proof of funds. If a cash buyer won't give you proof of funds, get rid of them. You do not want them. Okay. I'm telling you right now, cash buyers, if they can't give you a proof of funds, it means they don't have the money. End of story. Have a nice day. Move on. If they fight you on it, you're wasting your time with them. Okay. It doesn't mean be rude to them. It just means, listen, when you give me a proof of funds, then we can talk. Okay. Now keep in mind, they're going to ask you for something in exchange. You got to have deals. So don't be asking for proof of funds when you don't have any deals to offer them. That can somewhat be a sticking point on it. It's important you know that. The next one, make sure they're good with your wholesaling process. Some people don't want you to buy a property and make money on it. Okay. So make sure they're okay with you making a huge assignment fee. And here's how you say it. Hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, if I bought this property for $1 and sold it to you for a market value of, say, $200,000, would you have a problem with that? As long as I get clear title, I'm fine with it. Then you'll have a certain percentage go, oh, no, I'm not paying more than 10% of what you paid for it. Get rid of them. They're a waste of time. You don't want people like that. Okay. There's a lot of people that will value what you do. It doesn't mean be rude to them. It just means go find one that understands the value you're bringing to the table. Okay. Also confirm how many houses they bought really in the last year. Why? I don't want them buying like 50 houses, because I know they're going to ask for the maximum discount. I want the person that buys just a few houses here and there, because they're going to usually pay the most. Okay. And last but not least, get their buyer's criteria. Okay. You have to get their criteria. Otherwise, you'll never know. Okay. Are they a fix and flipper? Or are they a landlord? Do they like extensive rehab projects? What areas, what price points? That's all stuff you can easily get up front. Okay. We're almost done here, guys. I'm getting there. Okay. Market deal to the cash buyer. Critical. You can't take your deals and just post them on social media. So many people have been teaching this method. You guys keep in mind, you're selling the contract. So if you put pictures and address on there, you're actually representing of transacting on real estate, and you legally need a license to do that. So our workaround is you have to pre-qualify your cash buyers. Okay. Once you do that, then you can send them a private link, and we teach you how to do it in freewholesaling.com. Use a Google. You can use a simple Google Drive, and you can limit it where they can't share it and forward it, so it's not daisy chained all over the internet. Okay. But the best way to prevent that is to pre-screen everybody. Okay. And you want small lists you send it out to, and you're basically going to call them, let them know that once you have it locked up, your partner's going to go by seeing the house. We teach you how to walk through your buyers through the house. Remember, every seller is different. Okay. If your seller says, I can't have people coming through the house, my mom's on oxygen, it's dangerous, you're going to have to find a way to respect it and figure out how to get the deal done. And so some properties that are vacant, you can have the cavalry go through, just pre-screen everyone. And then some, you're only going to be able a chance to bring 1 or 2 people. You better make sure you have a deep discount on that house and you have good cash buyers. Okay. Now talk about walking through a cash buyer. Okay. This is the fun part. is so we called, I told you about, some are easier, some are harder. And then basically we teach you how to do the walkthrough with the cash buyer. There's always 2 points to this. There's someone that has to deal with the cash buyer, and somebody usually has to deal with the seller. Because sometimes when the sellers live in the house and they're there, you have to keep them separated. Okay. It's critical. And sometimes you're outnumbered. You got to get some people to help you out. We'll teach you on how to do that. And then last but not least, you're going to get that contract assigned. Okay. So most of the deals you do in the beginning are going to be an assignment of contract. So you're going to send the assignment over to the title company that you've already pre-vetted. We taught you how to do that. And then you're going to have the buyer drop off a non-refundable EMD, which is an earnest money deposit, to the title company. Okay. And by the way, at freewholesaling.com, we provide you all the paperwork for it on how to do the assignment. And the really cool part is, with my 20 years experience, I know every trick. I know every little nook and cranny that cash buyers try to weasel out of. And I have prevented all of it. I've had a lot of deals blow up, and I've had a lawyer write language in there to protect us in the event they don't do it. So number one, you always protect yourself with a non-refundable deposit. We teach you how to fill out the form at the title company. So if they don't show up to closing, say you keep a $5,000 deposit, that deposit immediately gets signed over to you. You don't need your cash buyer's permission to release that money. You do that so people pay attention and they go to the closing table, so you don't have to babysit them. And last but not least, we're basically going to close the deal. We're either going to do an assignment on most of your deals, especially in the beginning, or worst case scenario, you're going to do a double close. And guys, let me back this up here. That was a lot of information, and I almost feel like I need like a break from it. So this is the whole process right here. I mean, look at this.